How's it going, YouTube? Got FourthStarTCG here, and you guessed it, we are back for another Guardians Rising deck video. Today we are going over another GX card from the Guardians Rising expansion. And once everything loads, I will show it off. It is Lycanroc GX. Lycanroc is a very, very interesting card. I think it's pretty underrated. A lot of people sort of are sleeping on Lycanroc. It's got a great ability, great attacks, and I really think this is the best build for Lycanroc. I tried out a couple of them, but I found that this was just the simplest and best way to play Lycanroc. So let's get right into the deck profile here. We have a 4-3 Rockruff Lycanroc line. Rockruff is kind of interesting. The corner attack can be useful versus Volcanion and stuff, but sometimes they play switching cards anyway, so it is nice if you can lock something in the active, but so many decks play switching cards that it's really not that powerful of an attack. And then Wild Kick for 30 really doesn't do much. You could play the promo Rockruff. I think that's better, but I don't have it, so I'm not going to go out and trade for 4 promo Rockruffs just so I can do 10 damage with Tackle or something. But what we're evolving into is what we're going to be using. Lycanroc GX, a 200 HP Stage 1 Pokemon. The ability is Bloodthirsty Eyes. When you play this Pokemon from your hand to evolve one of your Pokemon during your turn, you may switch one of your opponent's benched Pokemon with their active Pokemon. So it's a Lysander in an ability. And when Lysander rotates, this is going to be very, very powerful because people are going to be building their decks around not being Lysandered. Less switching cards are going to be played, so I think in the next format this Lycanroc will be even better. We have a nice attack here for a fighting and a double colorless. Claw Slash does 110 damage. Fairly simple, but we can boost that up with some other choice cards, and that's going to be a very, very good attack. You look at it, 3 energy for 110 really doesn't look good, but when you boost it up, it can be a pretty powerful attack. And our GX attack is Dangerous Rogue GX, and it does 50 damage for each of our opponent's benched Pokemon, so it's like a buffed Mind Jack from Zoroark, and this is just fantastic. I absolutely love this GX attack. The numbers work out really well on it, and I'll go into that later once we go over all of our damage adding cards. So that's Lycanroc GX, and now our supporting cast. We're playing a 2-2 Carbink Break line. I really like this card, not so much. Carbink used to be really good because of the Safeguard ability. Now that GXs are coming into the format, and I'd say maybe at least half of decks are running GXs as their main attackers, Safeguard really isn't that good since it doesn't protect you from GX, but EX decks like Darkrai, Giratina, Volcanion, Carbink can be fairly good at times. Whoops, I removed a Carbink Break. But Carbink Break is a very, very nice card in this list. For just 1 fighting energy, Diamond Gift does 20 damage, and we get to attach 2 energy cards from our discard pile to one of our fighting Pokemon. This is really nice because we can fully power up a Lycanroc in 1 turn with Diamond Gift. We can attach a fighting energy and a double colorless from the discard right onto Lycanroc, and that is going to power it up. So we're really not weak to energy discard decks like Lapras or Sylveon with Carbink Break, which is really nice. So that's why I think it's a warranted inclusion in this list. We play 1 copy of Zygarde EX. It's really just a great basic attacker. Great to start off with. Lance Pulse 20 plus 20 for the Stadium card. Cellstar, it's just such a good attacker that it's really, it's too good not to play in this deck list. You could get away with it, but I really just think it's, yeah, like I said, again, too good not to use. 1 copy of Tapu Lele GX allows us to search out a supporter card from our deck, and since we're playing double colorless, we can activate the Energy Drive attack, which is pretty nice. And last but not least, 2 copies of Shaman EX. We can draw 6 cards, up to 6 when we play this Pokemon onto our bench. It's the metagame, it's been around forever, you all know what Shaman does. So now into our items and supporters and energies. We play 1 copy of Captivating Pokepuff. This is really nice just to buff up that GX attack power. Versus Lycanroc, a lot of people will try just to not bench Pokemon, and I'm not a huge fan of decks that are reliant on your opponent, or attacks that are reliant on your opponent. For example, Lycanroc GX's Dangerous Rogue that is reliant on your opponent benching Pokemon for its damage. So Captivating Pokepuff can really help you get around that. I really don't think it's more than a one of in this list, as you're most often going to be attacking with Claw Slash. But to buff the GX attack once, I think it's worth an inclusion in this list, and there is a fair amount of space in this list as well, so I felt that this was warranted. We have one copy of Devolution Spray. I played Devolution Spray over Lysander. Because our ability is basically Lysander, the only time we would want a Lysander is in the late game once we've completely evolved all of our Lycanrocs, or if they're in the discard or something. But I found that Devolution Spray is just better because it doesn't take up our supporter for the turn. And the only time Devolution Spray is not very useful is when you're damaged. So if you devolve into a 60 HP Rockruff from a 200 HP Lycanroc, you could knock it out, so you just have to be aware of that. But I think Devolution Spray is better than Lysander in this list. You could try it out with Lysander, but I think the extra supporter is really not useful. It's really nice in order to be able to use your ability and then use another supporter card, something like Lysander with the Bloodthirsty Eyes, and then Hex Maniac or Professor Kukui or N or something, and it can be really helpful. So that's why I play Devolution Spray. One copy of Escape Rope. We've got a couple things with some high retreat. Lycanroc has 2, Zygarde has 3. We want to be able to get out of the active. We play 2 copies of Field Blower. We only play 1 stadium in this list. There's really not a stadium that works with Lycanroc. You don't want to play Parallel City because you don't want to limit your opponent's bench size. You don't really want to play Scorched Earth because we only play 3 basic fighting energy. So that's really not the best stadium to play. There's really not much you can play, so we do play 2 Field Blower to get rid of our opponent's stadiums, 1 Special Charge to shuffle our special energy in since we play 8 of them, 1 Super Rod to get back our Pokemon and our basic energy, 1 Switch again, 4 Trainer's Mail just to search out all of our cards, very nice for consistency, 4 copies of Ultra Ball, grab all our Pokemon. For VS Seeker, fairly standard. Our 1 stadium is 1 copy of Brooklet Hill, which is nice for the beginning of the game. We can search out a basic fighting Pokemon and put it onto our bench. This is nice for grabbing out our Carbinks, our Rockruffs, and our Zygarde. It's not fantastic, so that's why we only play 1 copy of it. 1 copy of Hex Maniac. This is very important, especially versus decks like Decidueye Vileplume, which you'll probably lose to anyway because Decidueye can one-shot you with... well, they can't one-shot you with Razor Leaf, but they do have an ability called Feather Arrow, which adds 20 damage to anything on the field. So Hex Maniac, really nice versus Decidueye Vileplume. Volcanion, other lists that rely on abilities. Hex is should be a one of in every deck right now. 3 copies of N, very nice, shuffle and draw according to our number of prize cards. Also great for the late game. 1 copy of Professor Kukui, it ups our damage, which is wonderful. And we get to draw 2 cards, 4 copies of Professor Sycamore, 1 copy of Skyla. Since we're not playing Lysander, we have those 2 free slots, which are usually used in most decks. Skyla is really nice because we have a lot of 1 of trainer cards in this list. Stuff like Super Rod, Switch, Special Charge, Escape Rope, Devolution Spray, Captivating Pokepuff. That would be difficult to find if we didn't have the Skyla. So I think Skyla is worth an inclusion in this list. 3 copies of Choice Band allows us to boost up our damage by 30 if we are attacking an EX or a GX. 4 copies of Strong Energy. Everyone should know what Strong Energy does by now. It's been in the format since Furious Fists. When we attach it to a fighting Pokemon, we get 20 more damage. 4 copies of Double Colorless Energy, and 3 copies of Fighting Energy. So that's what we're rocking with right now, and I did promise I'd talk about the math for Dangerous Rogue GX, which is really nice. If your opponent has 5 benched Pokemon, you hit 250 damage, which knocks out anything in the format right now. There's nothing that has more than 250 HP, so a full bench will knock out anything in the format. Also, if your opponent has 4 benched Pokemon, and you have a Choice Band and a Strong Energy on, which is pretty common, you will hit for that 250 as well, so it's nice versus stuff like Solgaleo, Lunala. The new Metagross that just came out has 250 HP. Yeah, really, and it hits 240 as well, of course, so it knocks out stuff like Decidueye, any of those Stage 2 GXs that are very high HP. So that's very nice. Again, with 3 benched Pokemon, the damage is nice, adding 50 with Choice Band plus Strong Energy. So 3 hits 200 with all those extra cards in play, and that's nice for 200 HP GXs like Espeon. What are some other 200 HP GXs? I'm not sure, but I would say Umbreon, but I'm pretty sure it's weak to fighting, so it doesn't really matter. So there we go. That is our deck profile. I really like this deck. It's a lot of fun. I tried out a... do we have unsated? Yes, we want to discard them. I tried out sort of a stall Lycanroc deck, which had Crushing Hammers and Team Flare Grunt, and I found that it was just really clunky. We were hitting a lot of damage, but then we were also discarding our Pokemon's energy, and it was kind of weird. I didn't really find that deck was working the way I wanted it to. So I changed everything up, and I went with a more offensive build of Lycanroc, and I think this is what should be played for Lycanroc right now. So we see Darkrai. Ooh, this is a nice matchup for us. Unfortunately, we don't have a draw supporter, which is kind of annoying, but we do see Darkrai here, so that's going to be a nice matchup for us, as we can one-shot Darkrai's with our Claw Slash, even if they have a Fighting Fury Belt attached and we have no way of adding damage. So even without a Choice Band or a Strong Energy, we can one-shot. Yeah, so the only thing I wish we had here was a better kind of draw supporter than Professor Kukui. It gives us 2 extra cards, but hopefully with all of our other draw supporters, our Ultra Balls and such, we will be able to find what we need so we don't get donked here, as Darkrai can really go off fairly quickly. See the EXP share, the Ultra of the Moon, and Shaman for a clean 6. So my opponent having a really good first turn here. Yeah, I do see Ultra of the Moon, maybe 1 or 2 copies being played in Darkrai now. Helps the deck be a lot more mobile. And we are going to get End, which is lovely. I do not mind that at all. Hopefully we get End into more basic Pokemon. And there we go. Ask and you shall receive. Our Carbinks are pretty good in this matchup too. So we just have a great matchup versus Turbo Darkrai. Which is, again, probably one of the best decks in the format right now. I think with Garbodor coming out, it may have taken a hit, but we see the Yveltal coming out here, and alright, so we'll throw down a couple Rockruffs here. I'm going to throw down the Strong Energy on the benched. We'll throw down a Carbink as well. I want to keep 2 bench slots open, just if we ever want to Shaman or Tapu Lele. So we'll throw the Choice Band down here as well. We will Field Blower. We'll get rid of the Choice Band and the Experience Share for my opponent. I don't really mind the Experience Share. We'll get rid of the Stadium as well, just so that they don't have free retreat. Yeah, and I think that's going to do it for right now. Again, our draw supporters are a little thin. But now that we have an N in the discard pile, a VS Seeker, a Ultra Ball off of the top deck would be nice. So, see a Sycamore for my opponent, discarding quite a few cards. They also have a full bench, so if we want to, we can Dangerous Rogue GX for a knockout on anything, pretty much. So we see a Max Elixir come down, 2 Max Elixirs. And they both hit, so my opponent is getting the energy they need out. But we really want to be able to take things out as quickly as possible. See an Oblivion Wing here for my opponent. Really hoping for an Ultra Ball, some sort of something off of the top deck that can help us out. We do get a Carbink Break, which is nice. I'm going to Professor Kukui here, as we see a Skyla and a Super Rod. So not the best. I know my opponent has a Lysander in hand for next turn. So to stop something like him Lysandering out this Rockruff, I am actually going to attach to this Rockruff and corner. We are kind of stuck here, but I don't want my opponent coming in with this Choice Banded Darkrai and knocking out my benched Rockruff. We can Skyla for an Ultra Ball next turn, which will really help us out. We can grab a Shaman and Shaman for a clean 6 or clean 5, I think. But yeah, so it does come in. Yeah, it does come in useful. The other thing we can do is Ultra Ball for a Lycanroc. So we could Ultra Ball for a Lycanroc, take out a Darkrai, or we can Ultra Ball for a Shaman. How many Ultra Balls do we have? We only have 2. Okay. We only have 2 Ultra Balls in our deck. We do have 4 Trainer's Mail though. Wow. Okay. So this is kind of annoying. Wow, so 2 Ultra Balls prized. But we are going to discard. We're going to go down to 0 cards in our hand, so we're really banking on on a good top deck. But we are going to take out a Darkrai here. I'm going to take out this one with Claw Slash. Hopefully we can draw something nice off of our prizes. So we'll see what we get here, as we get an Ultra Ball and an Escape Rope. Not bad. As we can, yeah, we can Ultra Ball for a Shaman next turn. I could Ultra Ball for another Lycanroc and take out this Darkrai. But yeah, not sure. So my opponent's going to throw down the Tapu Lele here. And they're going to grab out the N. I don't have a problem with that. Give him more cards. See the experience share on the Tapu Lele and an Oblivion Wing. They aren't going to N. Sort of makes sense, I guess. So you see the Devolution Spray. Oh, that's so nice. Oh, that's so nice. Do I want to do it? Can I wait another turn? Yeah, I can. So we're going to Devolution Spray here. And
you blew it!
Oh, I can't evolve. Oh, man. Wow, what a bad play by me. But we're going to Escape Rope here. And we're going to throw out the Carbink. And yeah, I'm just going to hold here. Hope my opponent doesn't have a Lysander. Wow, that was such a bad play. What a misplay. I'm so used to using Devolution Spray with stuff like Serena and Decidueye, where I just assumed it could evolve the same turn. Yeah, but that's fairly bad. Oh boy. But we can do something like... You see the VS Seeker here? Yeah, Lysander, man, that's painful. So... Yeah, man, what a bad play. Jeez. Can't believe I did that. We are going to throw out our Carbink as if we draw Fighting Energy. Draw Field Blower. We've already used our Super Rod. Yeah, I will Field Blower. We'll get rid of the EXP share and stuff. And we'll Lycanroc here. And we will switch in the Hoopa. And we'll end our turn. See a Max Elixir here. So hopefully we're able to bring out this game. Oh boy. Screwed up so bad. I see another Darkness Energy get attached. Really hoping for a Fighting Energy off of the top deck, something. EXP share. Again, how many tools do you play? 2 choice band. 3 experience share? Wow. And we get end here. My opponent is finally going to end us. Giving us quite the nice hand, I have to say. So we're going to Trainer Mail. We'll grab the Sycamore. Throw down the Rockruff. Carbink. No need to do anything else. I'm just going to Diamond Gift here and fully power up our Lycanroc. So, we're a little behind, but... Man, what a bad play. Sometimes I surprise myself with how badly I play. That's definitely one of the prime examples. Goodness. Yeah, I better pull this out. But, so we see 2 energy onto the Hoopa here. It's going to have to retreat and discard them. If it wants to attack. Yeah, so he's going to go out into Darkrai here. Does he have another Lysander? He's got a Hex. I'm fine with that. Yeah, I'm perfectly fine with that. We find another DCE, which is annoying because we have to discard it, but I could have looked at my opponent's hand. Obviously not going to play the Lycanrocs. We'll grab the switch and we will Claw Slash, knocking out this Darkrai. My opponent is at an odd number of prizes, which... Yeah, next turn I have the game if my opponent doesn't end me, which would be why it would have been nice to look at their hand. We see the Ultra the Moon here. We need to see an end come out, as just an Ultra Ball would win me the game. So we'll see what my opponent can do here. They can't Energy Drive. What have they used? 2 Ends, 2 VS Seekers. So you see the Hex come down. Lovely. Okay. Which does 120 damage. And Dangerous Rogue GX should pick up the knockout here. So good game to my opponent. There we go. Dangerous Rogue GX, 220 damage. and that'll win us the game. So even after that horrendous misplay, we are able to pick up the win versus Turbo Darkrai. So yeah, he would have needed to end me there, but he couldn't do anything anyways. Dangerous Rogue GX picked up the knockout. So we will get one more game here. Hopefully I don't play as terribly as the last one. Goodness. Everyone always corrects me in the, like every time I make the slightest misplay. You guys in the comment section, I was like, oh, you should have attached 3 energy here, and like, you never should have discarded your Super Rod on turn 1 because you needed it 20 minutes later. Oh, man. So we see watercolorless. Maybe not Lapras, because Lapras usually doesn't run colorless Pokemon. Could be a water box, maybe. So I'll throw down the Carbink. Fairly nice opening hand, but our opponent is starting, so they could just end us out of it. We see Aqua Patch, Field Blower. This could be like a Turbo Lapras build, which would be interesting. So we are going to draw a card here. Yeah, so it looks like this is a Turbo Lapras build. Yep, with Manaphy and I'd assume Glaceon. So they missed the Max Elixir, which is nice. Professor Sycamore throws away a Shaman, and in a Super Rod we see another Max Elixir. Miss, please? No. So this is kind of a situation where I wish I was playing the less good Lycanroc deck, but we'll just throw everything down here. We are going to Shaman for 3, see if there's anything interesting we can pull out, maybe something like a Choice Band. We do see a Lele. Do I really want anything from our deck here? We might as well get a Choice Band. Yeah, so we'll Skyla here. Get out the Choice Band, as yeah, we have a nice hand for next turn, so we'll just end right there. We can switch, evolve, bring up the Manaphy. Manaphy's pretty essential in this deck list, so energy switch. So our Carbink is going to get knocked out here. We see the Rough Seas come down and the Professor Sycamore, tossing away a VS Seeker and another Sycamore. But yeah, Turbo Lapras is a very interesting deck to come out of Guardians Rising with Aqua Patch. You normally see Lapras played with Disruption cards, Skull Grunt, Flare Grunt, Hammers, which is a very, very good deck. I think it won Utah Regionals, or yeah. So we're going to see a Blizzard Burn here for 160 damage. We do have to keep in mind that, what's our Dangerous Rogue hitting? 150? Alright, 150. I think we've got it. We can just simply knock out this Lapras here, which we are not going to switch. And we might as well end. Right? Yeah, Dangerous Rogue. 50, 150, 170, 200. Yes. So we're going to Tapu Lele. We're going to search for the N, as I want to try to get out another Rockruff. Unfortunately, we don't. Maybe an Ultra Ball here. we do have a Brooklet Hill, which is nice. That'll first bump their stadium, and also allow us to search out one of our Rockruffs. So that is very nice. Clutch Brooklet Hill there, and we'll Dangerous Rogue GX for 200 damage, knocking out this Lapras. A nice, turn 2, turn 3 surprise. We pull a Ultra Ball and a Choice Band off of the prizes, which is very nice. So, we've cleared their field of energy, but we've now made their Aqua Patches live, so that's fairly important. And they get to use the Brooklet Hill as well, so they're the Aqua Patch. See the Rough Seas come down. The good thing about Lycanroc is that it really can take cheap prizes off of the field. I mean, next turn I just have direct access to this Manaphy and I can still play my supporter card, unless he ends me. So, we're seeing, man, quite a bit come down. We do still have the access to the Lycanroc. Yeah, and we grab it just to, yeah, so what I could do is I could go down to, I could hit this for some damage. I think I want to do that later in the game. We'll just take out the Manaphy here. I think that's best. Trainer Mail. Devolution Spray. We're discarding it. We are not using that card. I'm just going to Ultra Ball, get out a our last Rockruff. And get a clean 7. Very nice. We'll throw down the energy here, and we will Claw Slash for knockout. So we see the N and the Captivating Pokepuff here. We haven't played our Switch or our Escape Rope. Just thinking of that because of Ice Beam GX. But if he doesn't GX us, then we can we could have the game next turn if we find a an Ultra Ball, of which we have only played 2. So yep, so we see the Ice Beam GX come out. We would need something like Escape Rope. There's a Choice Band. Not overly helpful. Choice Band, DCE. Huh. We only have 2 I'm gonna go for it. Yeah, I'm just gonna go for it. So we're gonna look for our Switch. I can Captivating Pokepuff here. We'll throw down the Glaceon. And we'll Sycamore. Oh, we can Skyla. Lovely. Don't be prized, Switch. Don't be prized. Lovely. There we go. So that is going to be the game. We'll switch into our Lycanroc, and our opponent just forfeits. So there we go. 2 wins with Lycanroc GX. Really showing off the power of this deck. I really like it. As I said, I think this is a better deck than the Lycanroc Disruption deck, which plays hammers. Yeah. So very happy with this video. Hope you guys enjoyed too. Hopefully my terrible misplay in the first game wasn't enough to make you unsubscribe and never watch any of my videos again. So thank you guys for watching. Be sure to like and subscribe and stick around for more videos.